Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of College Sucks. I'm your host, Davia Samantha Davidson, a student affairs professional who has been in college most of my life. This week, we are looking at one thing that can definitely improve your college situation, your level of success, but most importantly, your life. What is it? It's your mindset, of course. And yes, I know everyone says there's this one thing, and they might be right. Do not knock it. But for sure, I cannot be challenged on this one. Your mindset determines everything. It's how you navigate the world. It's very important that you figure out what kind of mindset you want to have, because it's going to determine the kind of life you lead. College Sucks episode 20. Change your mindset, change your life. Stay tuned. Mindset is an established set of attitudes of a person or group concerning culture, values, philosophy, frame of mind, outlook, and disposition. It may also arise from a person's worldview or beliefs about the meaning of life. What is your mindset? So I want to tell you how I came across the whole notion of mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset, all of that. So many years ago, I was on vacation and I happened into a bookstore. I love books. I'm always talking about books. It's my thing. I'm a nerd and I like that. For me. Nerds unite. Okay. So I go into this bookstore and I see this book, and on the cover it says, I go into the self-development, self-help section. And if you're working on yourself, this is a section of the bookstore you need to be checking out. Okay. So I go in there and this book says, updated edition, 1,000,000 copy bestseller, mindset. Changing the way you think to fulfill your potential. And the author of this book is Dr. Carol Dweck. Now, Carol Dweck is an educational psychologist, I think, and she has done years of research about how young people learn, how children think, and the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. At the time when I found the book, I'd heard it before, I'm almost sure, but I've never delved into it. So I bought the book, put it on my bookshelf, and I didn't read it for years. And then one year I was thinking about, I really need to learn how to drive. This has been a problem of mine. I started when I was 21 years old. My teacher was a man, very rough. And he used to say unkind things to me, like he would say, "Oh, you're so smart. How can't you drive?" As if, both things were hand in hand, like being able to write an essay was the same as being able to parallel park. And honestly, he just made me feel so bad. And I had already been in the kind of culture or mindset of the things that you're good at are the things that you should do. And then the things you're not good at, you should just basically leave them alone, right? Like it wasn't set for you to be able to do this. And after reading Carol Dweck's book, I realized that that's absolutely ridiculous. And so I want to share this with you at this point in your life. You're in college, you may have blockages about courses, about what you want to do with your life, about even simple life skills, learning to cook, learning to drive, whether you can navigate relationships, secret talents and hobbies that you want to explore, but you just are afraid of the challenge that they present. And I just think that this is a good time to tell you that you can achieve anything you want to achieve. I'm not even kidding, okay? But all of that is outside of your comfort zone. I promise you. Even if you're naturally good at something, it is going to come with challenges. And so being able to manage and navigate challenges is really where success lies. It's not in front of it. It's definitely behind the challenges. And it's just the truth. I didn't make the rules, but this is how it is. And I'm just encouraging you to think about your mindset and to start framing it differently, shaping it differently so that you can enjoy all the good things that life has to offer. I'm not saying that you're not going to run into things that bring you to your knees and make you sad and it's difficult and you can't see your way out, but I promise you, there is always a way out, and your mindset definitely shapes your ability to recognize that. All right, so let's jump into it. So Dweck, in her book, and I'm encouraging you to read it, it's 283 pages, and she is not the most interesting author, and it's heavily filled with a lot of research, but she does break it down in chapters and in topics. So for example, one of them was that anybody can draw. I'm a terrible artist, and when I read it, she really had me feeling like, yeah, I could draw something if I wanted to. And in truth and in fact, I think if I wanted to, I could. I would just have to find a good teacher and be dedicated to it. There is nothing I can't do. Okay, nobody can tell me otherwise. And if I can't do it now, just means I can't do it yet, and it's absolutely the same thing for you. So let's get into it. What's a fixed mindset? So individuals with this mindset believe that intelligence and abilities are static. They tend to avoid challenges, fear failure, and see effort as futile. And me and my driving story, ain't that the truth? I tried to go around it. I mean, at one point, there was somebody who was specifically driving me around to everywhere I needed to go. That's, looking back now, that's so crazy. I can't even imagine what would make me think that was okay when there was nothing physically wrong with me. And the difference between someone with a fixed mindset and a growth mindset is that growth mindset people believe that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. They embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and persist through difficulties. So even when I found a driving teacher that I liked, so it was a woman, because I wanted somebody who understood that I didn't feel like I was born with keys in my hand, and who knew that I had a fear of driving when I was younger. I was in motor vehicle accidents. So remember, your environment can definitely shape your outlook, and you have to work around that, right? So a lot of the things that impact you, they may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to deal with them. I don't make the rules, so the thing's set, you just have to work with it. Okay, so I had a lot of things to break down to get over this driving challenge. And when Dweck says becoming is better than being, that really resonated with me. So you start a course, you're not good at it, it's a challenge. Instead of seeing it as the end of the world, right? Say, okay, I see you, challenge. See you out there trying to get me, and guess what? I'm not going to let you win. Okay, I'm going to find somebody who's better at this than me. I'm going to ask for their help. If they say no, I'll find somebody else. I will sit at the feet of the lecturer, but this course, this challenge, this problem, it's not going to win. And that's definitely what a growth mindset is about. But before we can get into our growth mindset, we have to understand the characteristics of a fixed mindset, because oftentimes we can't identify what the issue is. We have to be able to name it to be able to move away from it. So what is a fixed mindset? So common examples of these, according to Dweck, she's the expert here. The first one is avoiding challenges, believing that if a task seems difficult, it's best to avoid it to prevent potential failure. And I get it. Okay, a lot of students struggle with math in the Caribbean, in Jamaica in particular, and they just don't even attempt it at CXC. They're like, okay, this is too much, this is too hard, and I am not going to do it. And they try putting it off for as long as possible instead of just trying to work their way through it. I know it's easier said than done, But if you accept it as a challenge, it's easier than not doing it at all, especially when eventually you are going to need it and there's no going around it. The next one is ignoring feedback. So perceiving constructive criticism as a personal attack rather than an opportunity to improve. Like I've said to students so many times, and I've had to say to myself too, like, I'm a good person, I'm okay, but I may not be good at doing this thing yet, right? The power of yet. And so it's very important to separate what you're trying to do from who you are as a person, because your value systems is what you are. And something you're trying to do is something you're trying to add to your skill set. And not being good at it at first it has no bearing on whether you are worthy, whether you're wonderful, any of those things. So you have to be open to being criticized, because that's the feedback you need in order to improve. Another characteristic is feeling threatened by others' success. Viewing someone else's achievements as a reflection of your own inadequacies, leading to envy or resentment. Now, a little jealousy is good. Ooh, pardon that sound. I don't know what it is. A little jealousy is good, because sometimes we look at someone and we're like, wow, we like this, and you feel that it's a tinge. That's to let you know that there's something that you want that you need to work on. But a lot of time we're so resentful that we miss out on an opportunity to learn from somebody who has already mastered the thing. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example. When I was in high school, I did clothing and textiles. Why? I don't know. I enjoy clothes, but I have no intentions of sewing them. But it was so hard for me, and there were 2 girls in my class who were so good at it, and it would drive me insane. So on top, and then the teacher didn't make it any easier. She was always calling on them, praising them, and comparing us. Wherever she is, I hope she's having a fantastic life. But anywho's, that is not good. And for those of you engaged in teacher education, please don't go there. Comparing people really sets up resentment. And for a long time, I was in high school. I hadn't grown through a lot of things yet. It really, really bothered me how good they were and how I couldn't get it. Like, these girls are not that much smarter than me. How can't I sew? And funny enough, I thought about it so much that I think a couple of years ago, I'm friends with them. And I said to her, I used to be so jealous of how good you were at sewing in clothing class. And, our teacher would just always be praising you and always be scolding me. Like, that class made me cry. I am so far away from high school right now, but I remember that to this day. One time she asked me, the teacher, she said to me, well, Tavia, if you don't learn how to sew, where are you going to get clothes from for work? And it just seemed like the most ridiculous question to me. And I've always been the type to have a quick answer. So I was like, I'll buy them, or I will go to somebody who knows how to sew and she'll sew them. And I got detention. Yeah, so do not talk back in high school. Keep these things to yourself, really. But it really is the truth of the matter, because I own tons of clothes now. I ain't sewn none of them, right? But, and this is something that's really interesting, and I can put on a button if needs be. I can hem all my skirts, my dresses. I can put in a zip, and I can put in a dart if I need to. And I am sure if I want to, I can learn how to sew. I'm very sure of it. I have the mindset for it now. But anyway, when I spoke to the girls in my class that I was really jealous of how they could sew, they said to me, David, our class was not a challenge for us because our mothers were dressmakers. So what now? Yes, we were learning to sew from we were like 5 and 6. We sewed clothes for our dolls. And one of them even said to me, the uniform I wore to school, I sewed it. So what now? And I'm there the whole time just feeling at the time inadequate because we're learning. Well, I think we're learning at the same time, and we are not. They had an advantage because they were learning from they were younger. They were around it and they were able to observe it. And funny enough, my stepmother, hey Marva, she could sew and she made my uniforms. And the more time I spent around her, the more I picked up and was able to do better in the course. But of course, by then I had a mental block. And so I did pass clothing, and I say it all the time to people, I got two in clothing, I know these things. But it really was a rough time for me. And I wish that somehow I had stumbled upon this book in high school, in college, at A levels, and even UE, my master's program, because those fundamental years where you develop an attitude about life, it really shapes how you move forward if you don't fix it. It's just the truth. And so when I stumbled upon this book and I started to read it, it really made a major adjustment, like a mind shift. And that's what I want for you. All right. So what are some of the other things with a fixed mindset? So believing effort is futile. So thinking no matter how much effort you put in, abilities and intelligence cannot improve. And I'm here to tell you that's not the truth. If I can drive, anybody can drive. I promise you. It really is what it is. And it wasn't until one of my friends was just very frank with me. He said, you just need more steering time. That's it. You cannot improve your driving by not driving. You have to drive more. You have to be put in more situations where you have to make decisions. At one point I couldn't drive and listen to the radio, No, I can't drive without listening to it. I couldn't take phone calls. I couldn't, like it needed to be the right temperature, everything. And no, I couldn't even turn on my lights. I couldn't drive at nights because I couldn't figure them out. Turning on my lights, gas brake, like it was all too much. It sounds ridiculous now that I'm saying it. I'll probably edit this out. But the truth of the matter is that there are challenges in life, and some things that don't challenge you, it's challenging somebody else, and some things that are challenging you, they're not challenges for others. I just saw the thing said. It is what it is. So you really have to think about, what do I want? What kind of person do I want to be? How do I get there? And if it's hard, do I have the capacity to accept that it's hard, but that I can still do it? The next thing is avoiding new experiences. Fixed mindset people don't try anything. I give you a quick example. We had a netball match recently because it's first season, and I was so proud. I mean, my host won, so yay, I love that. I love winning. But I was so proud of the other hosts. Please don't come for me, my host. I still love you guys, because they didn't have any netballers really, but they tried, and the game was just so fun. And while they were playing the game, they were learning the game and actually improving. And I'm looking forward, if I'm here, I'm looking forward to seeing how they play next year, because they are going to grow from the experience. And I ran into one of the first year students, and she didn't want to do it. She was like, no, we're going to lose, I don't want to play. And they were like, come on. And even I went over there and I encouraged them. I was like, come on guys, come play. And she had the time of her life. And when I saw her, so the match was Thursday, I saw her Friday, and I was like, wasn't that the best time you've had since you've best time, miss? It was so much fun, even though we lost, because after a while they were learning where they couldn't go on the court. They were, where they were being trained. Even we were kind of rooting for them a little bit to just let them get a combination together. But just being open to the new experience and how much fun it was, I am sure it's a core memory for her. And it was a core memory for me, because sometimes you're at work and you're not having any fun, and because work is working and life is lifing. But it was just so good to see them out there learning something new, having fun, and not taking it too seriously. Okay, the other characteristics of a growth mindset: labeling oneself negatively, using phrases like, I'm just not good at math, or I'm not a creative person, suggesting abilities are innate and unchangeable. Another thing, giving up easily, abandoning tasks after encountering obstacles, assuming that challenges are insurmountable. Fixed mindset people resent hard work, believing that needing to work hard indicates a lack of talent or intelligence. They also blame external factors, attributing failures to external circumstances rather than considering personal growth opportunities. They avoid risk, shying away from opportunities that involve risk or uncertainty to maintain a comfort zone. And recognizing these tendencies is the first step towards adopting a growth mindset where challenges are embraced, effort is valued, and continuous learning is prioritized. Now, I'm sorry if you feel personally attacked by some of the characteristics of a fixed mindset, but please note that even people who are working on their growth mindset sometimes default into these characteristics. But I have to call you out to get you to move over to the growth mindset side, okay? I had to call myself out in order to get over there. So I'm a little expert in this. So in doing research for this episode, I watched a TED Talk by Carol Dweck, and she spoke about a high school where students, when they did an exam and they failed, their grade was not yet. It wasn't an F. Can you imagine how that feels to see not yet? And what it says is that you have not mastered what you need to master yet. And that's really what the F means. You know, A is that you've really mastered it. B is that you understand it. C is that, okay, you've just kind of mastered it. And then F is you need to keep going. So if we start to look at failure differently or word it differently, think about it differently, that is the beginning of the growth mindset. So in a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses, you say, wow, here's a chance to grow. This perspective shift transforms potential threats into opportunities for development. So how do we get into the growth mindset? Well, we start with what I just explained, the power of yet. Adopting a growth mindset involves recognizing that abilities evolve over time. Dweck introduces the concept of yet. Just the words not yet or yet, they give kids greater confidence, give them a path into the future, and creates greater persistence. Applying this to college, not achieving a desired outcome doesn't mean failure. It signifies that success hasn't been attained yet. The next one, learning from criticism. Constructive criticism is a vital component of growth. Dweck asserts that think about learning from criticism. We tend to get defensive when we get criticized, but a growth mindset invites it, right? People ask for feedback. By the way, I got my first thumbs down on my podcast, and listen to me, I have never been more excited. You listened to me and you did not like it. That's a challenge, and I'm glad you listened. And trust me, that's all a growth mindset. I am genuinely not even bothered. I texted my friend who produces the show for me. Thank you so much, girl. And I was like, I got my first thumbs down. Just so excited. She was like, who did that? Your friend's ready to, tussle for you. And I'm like, that's so good though. They listened and they didn't like it. And I'm okay with that because I'm open to listening to criticism, and I'm always begging you guys for feedback. Like, let me know what you think. I may not change the thing that you don't like, but I'm open to listening to it and to really assess if I need to grow from that. So by viewing criticism as a learning opportunity, you can refine your skills and enhance your academic performance. A lot of times students get feedback on paper and they don't, get clarity on it and see if they can resolve the issue so that they can improve. And I am begging you, please don't do that. Learn from it. So perseverance and resilience is a part of the growth mindset. So the passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of the growth mindset. This tenacity is essential for overcoming academic and personal hurdles. Dweck says, I've seen so many people with this one consuming goal of proving themselves in the classroom, in their careers, and in their relationships. Every situation calls for a confirmation of their intelligence, personality, or character. Every situation is evaluated. Will I succeed or fail? Will I look smart or dumb? Will I be accepted or rejected? Will I feel like a winner or a loser? With a growth mindset, you need to see the hand that you're dealt in life as just a starting point for your development. In a growth mindset, it is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through efforts. So let me reiterate how you cultivate a growth mindset. To develop a growth mindset, you need to 1. Embrace challenges. View them as opportunities to learn. 2. Persist through obstacles. Understand that setbacks are a part of the learning process. 3. Value effort. Recognize that effort is a path to mastery. 4. Learn from criticisms. Use feedback as a tool for improvement. And 5. Find inspiration in others' success. Let others' achievements motivate you. I mean, hey, if they can do it, you can do it too, even if they've had a head start. Okay? It's not in the head start, it's in the mindset. Dweck says, why hide deficiencies instead of overcoming them? Why look for friends or partners who will just shore up your self-esteem instead of ones who will challenge you to grow? And why seek out the tried and true instead of experiences that will stretch you? And that's the question I have for you. Why do that? That's boring. That's not fun. And you're not going to come close to any kind of happiness with just going with the flow. And listen, you don't have to take my word for it. All the successful people have also said it. Ernest Hemingway said, there's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. The true nobility is being superior to your former self. So from the position of not knowing to knowing, that's all we want out of life. And of course, my favorite basketball player said, success is not an accident. Success is a choice. And that's from Steph Curry. So if you want to be successful, you have to decide that. And like I said, make a plan. Find the people to help you. Be open to, okay, look at this. How did I do this? How do you think I should fix it? And work from there. I don't know. I say to students all the time, even though I work at a college and I already have my degrees and I don't think I'm getting any more, if I come across something I'm not good at, so I may not be good at social media, I may not be good at recording a video for myself or any of those things, I'm calling them. They're the experts. I'm calling them. I'm asking them to help me. Sometimes they're so shocked. They're like, you want my help, miss? Yes. And what I love about it, they are so willing and they're so good at it. And it's just great to see them mastering something they're already good at by teaching somebody else to do it. That's the ultimate for me. So please, in concluding, I'm up to 28 minutes. I keep watching my time. Your mindset profoundly influences your college experience. By adopting a growth mindset, you can transform challenges into opportunities, persist through difficulties, and continually evolve. Remember, it's not just about the destination, but the journey of becoming. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Please like, share, subscribe. Yesterday I found out I had 75 downloads on Buzzsprout, which means it's across everywhere I am, so Spotify and Apple. And I'm just encouraging you, if there's anybody who needs this kind of help, don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep me. Please share me. Get me out there, because I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and you have a role to play in my journey. So help your girl out, and thanks for listening. Change your mindset, change your life. Bye.